All right, so I just got my first HGA order back. I sent in 5 cards probably about a month and a half, 2 months ago. I did a 30-day and it was a little bit past 30 days, but I heard that they are giving some refunds, so that's what I'm hoping for right now. Bump me back to a 60-day price. Either way, I just got them back. All right, so real quick, before we do the HGA reveal, I'm gonna do my giveaway from my last video. I was gonna wait and do it later, but I ended up taking too long to make this video, so we'll just do it for this one, if I can get this to work. All right, paste that in here, filter out the duplicates, and go to comments. All right, there were 51 unique comments, so thank you everyone that joined. And Parpy, how do you enter the giveaway? So I think I responded to that comment and said that they did enter. If that is you, I will comment and say that you won, and you get to tell me which one of these 3, the Jordan Love, the T. Higgins, or the Clyde Edwards-Helaire that you wanted, and send me your info on how you want me to ship this to you. Thank you everyone for joining, and let's get back to the HGA reveal. And let's get right into it. After I reveal what grades I got, I'm gonna do a quick price compare of what HGA slabs are currently going for relative to, let's say, PSA or Beckett or any of the other grading companies, and about what these are selling for themselves. So without further ado, let's take a look. So I sent in 2 basketball, and the first one is gonna be a 9.5 Zion Williamson, and this was early days, so they didn't do custom and they only had color splash. So since with some of my more recent orders I've sent in, I've done the neutral color instead of the splash. I think it looks a little bit better, and their orange is maybe a little bit off. It looks a little red. Either way, a 9.5. I've seen a lot of reveal videos for HGA, and they seem super tough grading. But I will take a 9.5 any day. That is pretty solid. I think that if I sent this to PSA, it probably would get a 10 if it's gonna get a 9.5 here. But as you know, PSA is limiting what they are accepting. So it's a little hard to send to them right now, so everyone has to find alternatives if they want their cards graded. So next one, we got a jaw. Another Mosaic Orange Reactive Morant, and another 9.5 with all 4 subgrades being 9.5. Same with the Zion. I did the same color splash. Like I said, I didn't have options, so definitely pumped to be getting 2 9.5s back. Let's see. The next one is a red, white, and blue Prism Joey B, and I also got a 9.5. I did get a 9 on the subgrade here, but it rounds to a 9.5. I think if it was 2 9s and 2 9.5s, it would be a 9. So it just missed that one. Pretty clean looking card. I do like the label. I like how it's red, white, and blue. Pretty cool, and it's actually red, where it's pretty much the same color as these ones. So I think their new printers actually look better for orange. So we'll see in my more recent subs if that's the case. So we got a Joey B 9.5. All right, the next 2 are Herbert's out of Optic, and this is the base. And I got another 9.5. I actually got a 10 on the corners, which is awesome. So that is a great card right here. Love to see the 9.5. I do like the blue in the splash there. It's a little more less in your face as the red, which is cool. And the last one is going to be a Holo. Same card, but the Holo version. And I got another 9.5. Centering was only a 9. You can take a look. The centering definitely a little thicker on the right and maybe a little thicker on top. That's probably what I lost out on. The back looks pretty good. Either way, 9.5s all around. I have seen a lot of people do reveals and they don't look half as good as this, so pretty excited to be getting these results. And let's take a look at what some of these cards are going for compared to, let's say, PSA and all those other grading companies to see what you're getting for value. All right, so let's take a look at recent sold prices for PSA versus HGA. So for the most part, there's definitely a lower population of HGA. So it becomes harder to find an average and there's going to be more statistical variance. But with that said, we can take a look at what has been sold. And I'm going to start with some of the cards that I just got back from my HGA sub. And we'll start with the orange Zion, the Mosaic. And I got a 9.5, but I wanted to take a look at the recent solds for 9, 9.5, or anything out there for HGA, and then compare those to PSA 9s and PSA 10s. So on the left, you can see the two HGA cards. The first one, the top one, is in a 9.5, sold for $227, and below that, a 9 sold for $183. I think that $183 is a little high, and these cards, there was not many sold, so I had to go all the way back to mid-April. So cards have definitely gone down a little bit since then, especially basketball. But I think overall the 9.5 is about what we're seeing compared to PSA 9s and PSA 10s. It's falling somewhere in the middle, and we're going to see that all over the place. And this one is definitely an outlier. For the other ones, you'll definitely see that HGA 9s, even though HGA seems to be grading harder than PSA, HGA 9s are falling below what a PSA 9 would be. So the next one is going to be the orange Reactive Morant. This one only had one HGA sale, and it was HGA 9, so we're not going to spend a ton of time on it, but I wanted to put it up here just because I did get it back. Even though mine was a 9.5. These were the two sales I thought were comparable to each other, and it's about 2/3 the price, or $30 less for the HGA than the PSA. And obviously with just single data points, there can be a lot of statistical bias, but I think given the whole picture that we're going to see for the rest of them, this is pretty much what you can expect. So the next one, I'm going to look at the red, white, and blue Prism Joe Burrow. On the left again, we have the HGA, and there's only one sale of that. It was an HGA 9 that sold for $200, and I think it was a buy it now. It wasn't an auction, and I think that personally, I get more money when I put it up as a buy it now, a little bit higher than current comps, and then accept a lower offer if I get offered a decent offer. I'm not a huge fan of auctions. I know everyone has their own opinion, but as you can see, compared to the PSA 9s on the right, whoever sold this card definitely got their value relative to what we have typically seen with HGA versus PSA. And on the right, you can see those are 3 PSA sales, all auctions, and they all ended within a few days of each other, and there's outliers even within that. So I think just because it is an off season and they're probably a pretty low population count of these, you're going to see some variance regardless of what company you're looking at. So for the next one, I do want to look at the 9.5 HGA and compare it to the 10s. So on the left, you're going to see the only sale of the 9.5. It was early June. And the closest ones I found on 130point.com, which is where I'm getting a lot of this data from, are the 3 on the right. You can see that within 3 days of each other, 2 on a Monday, 1 on the previous Friday, they sold from $400 to $620. So these are all the same exact card, and you can see that the amount of variance just with one. So I think that having so few data points on the HGA side, we are going to see more variance than it seems like. And on top of that, I think that the market is still getting used to HGA's grading, and it is on the tougher sides. So I think personally, if HGA does stick around, we will see their prices of 9.5s probably go a little bit closer to what a PSA 10 is. In this case, you can see that it was kind of right in the middle, but I'm really chalking up a lot of this to variance. So I didn't submit a Prism base Herbert, but it seems like it's a card that sold a lot. So I thought it would give us maybe some better data points or some more data points just to look at, put things in perspective. So on the top, you see 2 HGA 9s. They're averaging about $120 per sale, and they're both pretty recent. And then on the bottom, you're going to see 3 sales of PSA 9s, also around the same time point that the other ones were sold, and they're selling for slightly more. You could say they're averaging about $160, $170. So this is probably what you're going to see for the time being, is PSA 9s going for a little bit more than HGA 9s. And for the last one that I want to look at is one of the Herbert Holos from Optic. And this was one that I got back in a 9.5, and I was probably the most excited for. On the left, you can see what an HGA 9 is going for, and there is an outlier in that middle price that was a best offer accepted for $300, and that's a perfect example of why I like to personally list high and accept lower offers. And on the bottom, you can see the 9.5 from HGA sold for a little bit more than the 9s, but if you look on the right, you can see the PSA 10s are selling for about $900 to $1,000 from what I've seen. I only showed the one about a $900, but this was the biggest gap that I've noticed, and it's probably because it's one of the better cards. And maybe there is some bias that with PSA stopping, taking in submissions, the ones that have gotten back are lower pop than they would have been, and maybe people have more money invested into them. So I think that's part of the factor that's driving PSA prices a little bit higher than HGA. And some people just don't like HGA. I'm personally a big fan, but I can't speak for everyone. I see it all over chat, Facebook groups, and on Reddit and everything. And some people just don't like HGA, and it is what it is. So overall, I would say that if you're comparing HGA 9s to PSA 10s, PSA 10s are still getting the value. HGA 10s are very hard to come by, and they probably would be comparable, but there's so few of them, I didn't even look for them, or I didn't even see them while I was searching for these cards. And it looks like the PSA 9s are going for a little bit more than HGA 9s, but not much. And the 9.5s are really falling somewhere in the middle. I think that they will creep a little bit closer to PSA 10s as the market realizes how hard HGA grades. And it really does come down to how much the buyer likes the labeling and trusts HGA as a company. So there's definitely a lot of variables that are going into it, and very few data points to really hang your hat on as far as what HGA is worth or what it's going for. But I probably will do another video like this in the future. I have a few more orders at HGA now, so maybe as I get them back, I will do more comparisons of price and do a little update of maybe where HGA is compared to PSA prices. So thanks again for viewing, and like and subscribe if you like this, and we'll come back for more.